So valence electrons are really important because they're in the outermost principal energy level. They're most loosely held. Those are the ones that typically interact with other atoms. So we can write Lewis symbols for different elements. And here we're going to show the valence electrons as dots around the element symbol. So here we're going to draw the Lewis symbol for oxygen. So we'll start with the element symbol for oxygen, which is just a capital O. Wrong pen. Capital O. And then we look at the periodic table to see how many valence electrons does oxygen have. What group is it in?
6.
It's in group 6. It has 6 valence electrons. So we're going to put 6 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's lots of different ways that you could arrange those dots. Those are all good options. One thing we're not going to do is go 1, 2, because it's hard to look at that and see how many dots there are, right? We're going to be putting our electrons either north, south, east, or west with a maximum of 2. And so what we end up with here is a little bit like we get with dice, right? Do you need to count the spots on that die to see how many there are? No. We know from the pattern that that's 6. And the 5 is always shown like this. And we recognize it, right? So we're not going to draw just random dots around. We're going to keep to the 4 points of the compass. So place the dots with a maximum of 2 per side. This makes it easy to visualize the number of valence electrons. So atoms that have 8 valence electrons, that's going to be 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the right, 2 on the left, are said to have an octet. 8 electrons, an octet. That's a particularly stable situation. The noble gases all have octets, and that's why they don't interact with anything, because they're just so full of themselves and so happy with just how they are, right? They don't need anybody else to fulfill them, right? They're just really stuck on themselves. Helium is an exception. It's too small to have an octet, so it has a duet. We'll see that hydrogen is also an exception. The octet rule is really important in Lewis theory, and it says that atoms will transfer or share electrons to achieve an octet of valence electrons. So in the Lewis model, it's all about how can these atoms get an octet of electrons.